Okay, so maybe you're doing residential and you also want to do commercial, or you're only wanting to do commercial. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about getting leads and hacks for commercial roofing projects. Okay, so again, we're going to do a summary of what we're going to talk about. Mainly, we're going to be talking about property management companies, housing conferences, property management conferences, and then the country club at the end, or some type of club like that. Okay, so property management companies. So property management companies, just like with residential, there are commercial property management companies. Sometimes they're hybrids, then they do both. If you didn't watch the residential leads video, I recommend watching that one at the very end at least, but I will go over some of the major points in this. Now, when it comes to commercial property management companies, it is going to be a longer sales process than the residential property management companies. Most of the time, they're already going to have a roofing contractor that works for them, that does a lot of work for them. They may have, a long list. But I want you guys to understand that this is a long cycle, and I want you to understand that it may not happen overnight. You may have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times there. You have to follow up. And all you're trying to do is just get the opportunity, because once you get on the list, once you start getting the calls and you start doing the work for them, you start going from bid work, which you're probably going to start doing, to negotiated work, to where they know you're the contractor that's going to show up. Okay, so the way this conversation works is you're going to walk in, same thing as a residential property management company, but there's going to be a lot more people who work at these, and you're just going to say, make sure you have your business cards with you, have a capability statement, dress professionally. You don't want to look like a guy who's never walked on a roof. But you also don't want to look like a guy that's just waiting to get your next six pack. Okay, so dress like a contractor, but dress nice, and say, hey, I was wanting to see if I could speak to the president. Just go ahead and go straight to the top. If they shoot you down and tell you, well, what do you need to talk to him for or her for? Make sure you do your due diligence before. There's plenty of these property management companies that you can call ahead of time and try to schedule appointments and stuff like that, or just walk in. And you can Google all these people. The point is try to go for the top first, and then you can start paring your way down. Okay. Now, when I say a call, you can also do these people just by calling them and doing this over email and emailing them and stuff like that. There are campaigns to target and get after these people without actually having to go in their office. Especially, if you're watching this during the COVID time. Hopefully, for God's sakes, this is going to be over soon. But the point is that you still want to try to meet these people in person so you can go ahead and get on their vendors list. And that's what you're trying to do. On the property management side, they may not call it a vendors list. On the residential, because it's not as big. On the commercial side, you want to get on their vendors list for these property management companies. And again, you may start off as like roofer number 5, roofer number 4, then you're roofer number 3. You're just trying to slowly move up the list until you're the company. And just like with the residential, you have to be on time, you have to do your job, you have to be fair in pricing. You have to build a relationship. You may have to sponsor. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the housing conferences and the property management conferences here in a moment. But there are just opportunities for you to build a relationship with these people. But understand it's going to be a little bit different than residential. It's a long-term type relationship. But guys, if you are wanting to scale your company and make more money and do less work, this is the way to do it. This strategy has to be taken advantage of. And it's something that it's been very successful with our company. We have just the perfect amount of clients now. We're not trying to add anyone right now. And this has been a massive part of our success for our company, is selling to commercial property management companies. Okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is housing conferences and property management conferences. Well, I'll talk about property management conferences first. Property management conferences are normally property management companies that are having their own conferences. So what they do is they bring in all of their office staff, all their property managers, all the admin personnel, their maintenance men. They bring them in once a year for conferences. And this is a great opportunity for you to sponsor the event, go to the event, and meet all the key players within the company. Maybe one vice president or the head of maintenance, or you got in with one of the ladies who works at one of the offices, or one of the gentlemen that's, he's just an admin assistant with the company, or you meet the lady who's the territory manager. This is the opportunity to meet the entire monster all at once. You get a chance to get in. They know you're a sponsor. You go out and stay. You have some drinks. Maybe you take out, a couple people golfing. The point is that this is these conferences within the property management companies that you're trying to do work with is just a great chance for you to land, this client, not where you're, roofing company number 3, but you go from roofing number 1 overnight. And it's about building relationships, being honest. Do me a favor when you're there, don't overdrink, okay? Always maintain professionalism. Whether you're a guy or a girl watching this video, don't have any bad conduct while you're there, because at the end of the day, people are going to like you for the work you do, not for you being a good time Charlie and being fun at these parties. What they're going to look for is, they want to have somebody they're going to have fun with, and you got to be charming and all that stuff, but you also need to be a professional, because at the end of the day, they're writing you big contracts. These are 6-figure roofing jobs that you can get overnight and move up through the company because of who you are. Okay, so this is an opportunity for people to get to know you personally, know you as a person, not just as, Billy the roofer, but to get you to know personally and what your company's all about, what you stand for. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're at these conferences, because there's normally a lot of alcohol going on. There's a lot of fun. There's events going on. So just maintain your wits, have a good time, and be professional. Okay, same thing applies for these big housing conferences. So affordable housing is really where we got into it. So there's basically affordable housing, and then there's retail housing. So that's more the high-end apartment complexes. We started off doing affordable housing. So we wanted all the Section 8 housing, and that's kind of how we got into the game, was doing multifamily projects for affordable housing. Those were the first conferences we started going to. And then there's also the retail side. Guys, I'm not going to tell you, you just have to do a Google search. Just look up commercial property management conferences. If you're watching this during 2022, they're probably still going to be slowed down, but as the world starts continuing to open back up, you're going to start seeing these more and more. Now, I'm telling you, when they start happening, you need to get your butt to them, okay? That's all I'll say about them, is go to property management conferences and make sure you're going to these housing conferences for multifamily. Multifamily. With your first 5 years, that's what you should be going for. That's a good break into commercial without you having to go into crazy stuff with flat roofing if you don't have a flat roofing background. If you do, now you just have a much higher chance of getting more jobs, because companies that do have flat roofs and you know how to do them, you're going to be able to get more of that, and you're not just going to have to go for housing. You can start going for property management companies that handle buildings like that I'm in right now, okay? So you can start going more of the industrial commercial side on the property management companies. Okay, the last thing I'm going to talk about is like country clubs, yacht clubs, boating clubs, whatever. The point is that the more you join these type of clubs, particularly with people that have money, the more opportunities you're going to get for work, particularly on the commercial side. I will tell you that we have gotten a lot of opportunities just because I play golf. I get to meet people with money. I get to meet other, affluent people. It's provided us with opportunities that we wouldn't have got outside of just, I play a fancy sport that a lot of people that have money play. Okay, that's just, at the end of the day, has been a huge asset to me in life and in business. And I'm not suggesting you pick up a set of golf clubs tomorrow, but whatever your passion is, make sure that you're joining clubs with other affluent people who do it. And it's going to give you opportunities to do larger projects and win more big jobs.